In a family of about 20 boys and girls, I'm the first girl to go to college.
Oh, I think I'm going to lean with the word I've been using for all of 2026 that I'm going to be using. It's possibility, that anything is possible.
Right.
I had an idea because I write, and I pitched to a couple of media entities. Canadian newspapers are like, oh no, that is not our alley. And then during that time, I saw like a call for speaker for TEDx, and I just pitch this to them.
Right.
And then I pitched it to them, and they accepted it, and I gave my own talk.
Thank you.
Yeah, because after that experience, it was very impactful, and I realized anybody can be a TEDx speaker. So I decided, why not create one here for Halifax instead of having to fly out. I mean, you can fly, that's a good experience. It was a good experience for me.
I was born in one of the world's poorest countries and during one of the worst humanitarian crises.
So the reason why a lot of people have sad stories is because we learn the best lessons during our down moments. If you have really fun, cool ideas, come to us. Like last year, we had almost 150 applicants
Oh, wow.
for only 20 slots.
Goodness.
Just because you didn't make it through does not necessarily mean your pitch was bad, but just because we only can realistically only support 20 people at this time.
Right, yeah.
But for me, the two things I was looking at, one was the community reaction, and two was the speaker's reaction. Helping someone fulfill a lifelong dream. How did the community change? What did people learn? What did people take away? Did this really make an impact? So I'm just like, if I'm gonna spend my life on this, like it has to be worth the effort.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Community Update. We have an amazing guest with us today, Fatu M. Kaba, TEDx organizer with TEDx Argyle St, based here in Halifax, Nova Scotia. Fatu is also a Forbes featured storyteller, a professional speaker, and a leadership storytelling and visibility strategist who helps people turn their stories into impact. In today's conversation, we'll be exploring her TEDx journey, what happens behind the scenes of TEDx events, and how storytelling can transform lives and communities. Fatu, a huge welcome to Community Updates.
Thank you.
We've been looking forward to this interview, so we're super excited. Let's just start out now with having you tell us a little bit about Fatu behind the scenes.
Oh my God. For the most part, I'm a regular girl who just believe in making a difference in my community.
Right.
So whether that's getting people together, whether that's organizing events, whether that's providing opportunity for people to share their stories or just become best versions of themselves.
Right.
That's basically it. I am originally from Liberia.
Okay.
It's a very small, like a tiny country in West Africa. And I was born and raised there. And afterwards, I got a scholarship to the US as the first girl in my family to go to college. And then in the US, I was like, okay, I think I want to go to Canada. And then I decided to come here to do my master's.
Okay.
And then really kick off my career. So that's why.
And so you basically made Halifax your home then?
Yes.
Well, we are grateful for it. You're a woman of many parts. I heard that you organized the Canadian International Peace Conference in the spring of last year, and you had the keynote speaker as the President of the United Nations for Canada. That's big.
Yep, it was good. It was really big. We had over 160 people attending. We had over 30 organizations represented.
Wow.
It was 2 days. It was a lot of learning, a lot of like connection, a lot of stories, amazing, really good, impactful stories.
I can imagine.
We had really good conversations. For me, it's always about creating spaces for people to talk, to connect, to learn.
Right.
It was a huge success, like crazy huge success that I wasn't even ready for.
Well, congratulations on that. And I mean, it's right up your alley. You enjoy telling stories and highlighting people's stories. So it's not a surprise then that you have brought TEDx to Halifax. Tell us, how did that happen? Why is TEDx Argyle St here?
Oh man, I have always wanted to be a TED speaker. When I was a young girl back in Africa, I joined this program, a gap year program. So basically like a year before you go to college.
Okay.
And as part of this program, they will like introduce us to motivational speakers, TED Talks. It was like just really good. And then I remember I wrote in my diary, I was like, if I reach 32 by that time, because I did all this calculation, if I were to ever go to college, because I wasn't sure I could afford college.
Yeah.
But if I were to go to college, maybe I would graduate and get my master's and everything by the age of 32. Then I'll have enough accomplishment to be a TEDx speaker. Because all the people I saw on the platform seemed so accomplished. So I really loved it. Like I've always loved stories, people, connection. And so I wrote down in my diary. And then fast forward 2023, I had an idea for, it was supposed to be a blog because I write.
Right.
And I was planning to just like publish it with, because I've written a couple of work for a few blogs when I was back in the US and then back for African blogs. And I'm like, okay, maybe I want to establish myself as a writer here in Canada because I do it. And then I pitched to a couple of media entities and they were like, no, because it was actually what I give my talk on.
Right.
Of course, there was like some changes, but the very concept of it is, especially when there was like a lot of conversation around Palestine, Ukraine, and other places during that time.
Right.
And I was born during a civil war, so it felt a little triggering. And I thought, write this and just ask for solidarity, for people to be open-minded to support survivors of violence. And so Canadian newspapers are like, oh no, that is not our alley. And then during that time, I saw like a call for speaker for TEDx, and I just pitch this to them.
Right.
And then I pitched it to them and they accepted it and I gave my own talk. And after that experience was very impactful to me. I was 25 then. So it was like, how many years to 32?
Right. Like how do you evolve then from being a TEDx speaker to a TEDx point person?
Yeah, because after that experience, it was very impactful and I realized anybody can be a TEDx speaker. So I decided, why not create one here for Halifax? Because after that, a lot of people will be like, people just see me and they say, you're the first TEDx speaker I know. Like I haven't seen a TED before. And so I thought, okay, maybe we can have our own TEDx event here instead of having to fly out. I mean, you can fly, that's a good experience. It was a good experience for me, but it makes a huge difference when it's within our own community where people like you, like myself, like your next door neighbor, your best friend, your sister, or even you are on the platform where you only ever saw it on TV or YouTube, and you know, it humanized the experience, and that's what I was looking to do for people. So that's why we have it here.
So the maiden episode or event took place in August of last year.
Yes.
Tell us about it.
It was a really fun experience. It was an experience that really challenged me because I had just organized the peace conference. I didn't really have time to break and then jump straight into organizing the TEDx event. So the theme for last year was rooted in resilience. So we have, it has been a lot of work, but I also have to say, I'm grateful for the team I have. Without them, it wouldn't be a success because my team has been incredibly helpful. They work above and beyond. And so it was just, after TED approved my license, I did like a whole social media blast and I had people who were like, oh my God, we're actually having this here. I was surprised about how quickly it blew up because I had blogs in Halifax that quickly picked it up and then people were just like, how can we help? How can we speak? So, and then I set up a team, about 10 people.
So you got the community support?
Yes, I got the community support. I think
awesome.
That for me is the biggest takeaway. When you do something that the community love, that community appreciate, people will show up.
So for us on the, viewing, maybe an event that is very well attended, qualifies as a success. But for you as the organizer of the event, what was your own metrics for measuring the success of that event?
I think for me, it was mostly two things I was looking at. First, obviously, was like the logistics, making sure it was successful. So that's kind of like anybody would look at.
Yeah.
But for me, the two things I was looking at, one was the community reaction, and two was the speaker's reaction. So was this an experience that was impactful for them? Did this experience help them in any way, whether it was their confidence, whether it was their career, whether it was just something of helping someone fulfill a lifelong dream.
Yeah.
So that was one of the things I was looking at. But also the second part was, how did the community change? What did people learn? What did people take away? Did
Yes.
it really make an impact? Did it change anything about how we think, what we do, or what we could do differently?
Yeah.
So those are like the two major things I was looking at. I think if I could add like a bonus, would also just be the volunteer experience, because my volunteers did really well for the entire team. So they did help them. Most of our volunteers are also coaches. So they coach speakers, but at the same time, they have their own coaching businesses and stuff. So even if it's not paid, but did that help their
They got the
experience or their
experience.
portfolio or in any way?
So
those
all
are
of
things
that
like-
sounds to me like a great value added
Yeah.
to the community, you know. Oh, wow. That's interesting. So in one sentence, what would you say that you want people to feel or do differently after attending a TEDx? What do you want them to take away from any TEDx Argyle?
I think I'm going to lean with the word I've been using for all of 2026 that I'm going to be using. It's possibility, that anything is possible,
Right.
and that they can grow. And if they want something, they honestly just go for it.
Go for it. Yeah. All right. So in terms of, you did talk a lot about, the volunteers and the sponsors. What type of partnerships would you say added the most value? I know like you had a community rally round, but what for you was the strongest element of partnership that you enjoyed and that you would be looking forward to on subsequent TEDx Argyle events?
I feel like I don't want to minimize when it comes to partnership, because every single person that contributed to the platform in one way or the other meant so much to us. Like even if it was maybe seemed like you were just doing something offhandedly, it's not a big deal for you. It meant a lot to us. So I will give you an example. The Downtown Business Association, Halifax Downtown Business Association, and even the Halifax Chamber of Commerce. When we started selling our ticket was, or is, a little bit more expensive than most other local TEDx events in different places.
I see.
And that's also because of we don't get money for organizing
No
or
funding
anything.
yet.
So all the funding,
Yet.
you don't, like as per TED, you don't get money.
Oh,
So it's
I
all
see.
volunteer driven.
I see.
So our funding usually is from production,
Okay.
logistics, and everything that has to go in it. So that was expensive. So why our ticket was expensive was so that we're able to cover our costs and
Right.
not going to, have to be owing debt to are trying to
Exactly.
make an impact. And so I reached out to organizations here, and they were like, we might not have money to directly support you, but we can do something else. We can share your posters. We can help you market. And because of those support, we sold out. And because we sold out, we're able to cover all of our costs. And we did the event with zero cost to us. Not zero cost to us, but we didn't go in deficit.
You didn't go into debt, yeah.
Yeah. So for me, that was very helpful. So whether it's you deciding to financially contribute directly, or whether you deciding I'm just gonna donate something to the speakers. We had sponsors like Voda Retreat, who just created packages for the speakers after they're speaking. They had these little packages. I thought it was so cool.
Yeah.
I also grabbed a couple from there, but it was just a really good way to calm their nerves after you just walk out of the stage and you're already excited. There's that tension that I do well, everything comes up, and then somebody come to hug you and then give you a little give back and say, thank you, you did really good well. That could mean a lot for speakers. So all of our partners honestly did well. So I would say just reach out to us if you want to be affiliated or you want to support, and just let us know how you can help, and we'll appreciate it.
Right. So the first edition is done and dusted. As the second one as we prepare for the second one, I think it's supposed to be in July
18th, and we
18th.
currently have our application for speakers out.
Okay, so that's out already. So full steam ahead.
Yeah.
How are you looking for the TEDx Argyle St to evolve, from that first one? What are you looking to achieve here that was probably not captured in that first maiden edition?
So for this year, I'm looking more at, and I would say this is also personally on me and like the internal stuff.
Yeah.
I think because it was our first year organizing, it was also the first time here. So for both me, our volunteers, our speakers, there was a lot of anxiety around the process.
Right.
So everybody was clashing at everything. It was a little bit of a mess. I'm hoping to, and what I've been talking to my volunteers, to streamline the process and get more community involved. So we're gonna be opening volunteer applications. So if you want to volunteer of our team, you can join us, because the more the merrier.
Yeah.
Also for the speakers, make sure we assign them to coaches as fast as possible, so we get that out of the way and just make things simpler, so that they can create the best versions of their talk without like the pressure of everything, time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. There was something you mentioned that I was hearing for the first time. My assumption about the process is that people who want to be speakers would pitch to you. Is that how it works?
Yes.
Please walk us through the process, from someone raising their hand and saying, I want to speak, to getting to the stage. What's that process?
Oh, okay. So what happened is, if you are interested, we post on our socials. We also email our partners and stuff, but then we do a call for speakers.
Right.
Like last year, we had almost 150 applicants.
Oh, wow.
For only 20 slots.
Goodness. So maybe you need to organize 2.
Oh my, that would be, I'm planning to, and I'll tell you how in a second. So we put out a call for speakers, and if you are interested, you apply. And then we have a team of volunteers. There are 6 judges. I am not on the judging committee, because a lot of people come to me with question and concern, and it just makes sense that I answer.
Right.
So we have a team of judges, and they have 2 rounds of evaluation. So they have criteria they will use, and then they'll grade people. How valuable is this talk? Is this talk needed now? And everything. So we don't care too much about whether this is your first speaking or not, because we coach you.
Okay.
So after that evaluation, then we'll choose the number of, and just because you didn't make it through does not necessarily mean your pitch was bad, but just because we can realistically only support 20 people at this time.
Right.
And so if only 20 people go, it doesn't mean other people are bad. There were some people who had really good talk, but and then it come to a point where judges had to vote who gets the slot.
Yeah.
So all of that kind of happened in the process. And then the shortlist, afterwards, we contact those who are successful, and we usually then do a volunteer speaker meeting.
Okay.
And then afterwards assign them to coaches. So the coaches then will be the one who review their script, provide feedback. Some coaches have different way they do it. Some coaches meet one-on-one, some meet in group to practice. It's honestly different. I didn't attend their coaching sessions, but I kind of hear from them how it went.
You just have eagle eye oversight on everything.
Yeah, so the coaches will take care of everything. And but if there is a problem or situation, then they come to me. But other than that, I don't know.
And that's fine.
And then that's basically what happened, then leading to the events, if anything. Yeah. And also I mentioned there might be the possibility of doing another one.
Tell
me. If you have successfully organized a TEDx event before, your license then have a complimentary event called Stallon.
Okay.
So it's a mini version of the major event.
Right.
But salons have like both ups and downs, and I think that's what I'm kind of trying to avoid it a little bit in Halifax, because for salons, yes, you qualify also as a TEDx speaker, but it doesn't require like the full setup. Like for what we did at Argyle St, we had like cameras, team, everything set up. For salons, you can record it on your phone. It's like low key,
more flexible.
Yeah, flexible version of it. You don't necessarily need like the full stand. You can get like a flyer, whatever that will look like.
Okay.
But I'm thinking Halifax, people want to be on the main stage. They'll be like, I'll wait for the main stage. But there is a possibility of doing that. I was thinking about one for youth if things go smoothly. So just like a salon for youth in Halifax. That way, they're not forced to like have to compete to pitch against people who obviously develop better page, because just because you develop a really good page or maybe your pitch did not go through, does not necessarily mean your ideas or your pitch.
So that there's room for everyone.
There's room for everybody. Yes.
And that's phenomenal. You know, the fact that you're making room for the wider audience of different ranges of expertise with speaking will find expression. That's awesome. I wanted to ask a question also around TEDx is about ideas, spreading ideas worth spreading. How, and this may be a tip for someone who's thinking about pitching. Are there any tips on what ideas in particular that TEDx Argyle is really looking for versus ones that may, if a speaker, for instance, had 6 topics that they would want to share in terms of what TEDx Argyle is looking for, what should they be focusing on as their top 2?
So I did a video recently on a simple way to come up with a really good idea. Okay. Because oftentimes when people think about TED, they think I'll just share my trauma story and people will accept it. The reason why you see a lot of people share traumatic event, it's not necessarily because we are looking for traumatic event. If you have really fun, cool ideas, come to us. So last year our team was rooted in resilience. So a lot of the resilient people share were personal, it was intimate, it was sad. Right. And that's why the judges this year were like, maybe we want something a little bit different. So the team is evolve.
I noticed it's evolved.
It's evolved. So the goal was to give a mix. Of course, evolve can be sad, but we also want creativity. We want like happiness
moving on from whatever the challenge you're.
So the reason why a lot of people have sad stories is because we learn the best lessons during our down moments. But it doesn't necessarily mean it's TED as a whole. It's about story sharing and sad story sharing. So a simple formula I like to tell people to use if you decide you want to be a speaker, because even when you go through our coaching, then you realize that sometimes what you think might be like the best thing you want to share might not necessarily be the TED kind of thing that we learn. So it's okay to brainstorm a lot of ideas. Think about a lot of things you can workshop, you can teach people. Take yourself out of it. Like, your story is important, but it's an icing on the cake. It's a vehicle. It's a context. But what we're looking for is the broader impact of what are you trying to teach people. Something that by the time this person leaves the room, they can go home and start to think about it. Like a boss can walk in his office and be like, I did not know this was a thing. How about we have a conversation about this, right? Or you can go home and you tell your spouse, your siblings, and be like, I did not know that was a thing. I've always done it this way. Now I'm going to do it this other way. So how can you make people think differently rather than just sharing, oh, this thing happened to me? Because I get paid to speak, and I will for sure tell you, clients do not care about your story. They care about how can you solve the problem and what impact it make on them.
So and I hope you're listening, people out there. This is a big tip. I'm taking that away also.
People care about how your life lessons impact them, not necessarily just because you went through that experience, right? They care about, if I listen to this person's story and I was going through a painful moment, can this give me hope? Can this give me something?
What's in this for me? How can things be better?
Exactly.
Right.
So here is what you do. If you decide that you want to be a TED speaker and you don't know how to create an idea, brainstorm a lot of ideas. Brainstorm things that happen to you. It could be shock. It could be simple moment. It could be things where you went, oh my God, I did not realize that. So brainstorm a lot of them, maybe 10, 15. After you brainstorm all of them, go ahead and take a look at them again and cut down to maybe your top 5 of top 6.
Yeah.
And then once you get to that top 5 or top 6, you do your research. I don't think a lot of people do research. People pitch their story, but they don't do research. So
do the research, people.
do the research. And here's a good way to do research. If I wanted to speak about anxiety, I like to say anxiety because we are all anxious all the time.
Yeah.
If I wanted to speak about anxiety, I would go to YouTube or Google and say TED Talk anxiety.
Right.
Then you get to see what people are talking about anxiety. There are a couple of things that happen when you do that. So first, you get to know if what you thought was a good idea, if it's already oversaturated. If somebody's already talking about it. Like, if
Then just
people are
move on
talking
to
about
something
it,
else.
you don't want that.
Right.
I'll give you an example. There was a speaker who pitched on women in STEM. It was a little bit more specific than that, but anyway. And immediately I hear it, I was just like, and then the judges were like, this sounds a bit too much. So they Google it and they saw there were just a bunch of TED Talks on that. We don't want another like...
So you want something unique.
Something unique.
Yeah.
Yeah. So being able to do that will help you shortlist possible ideas.
Okay.
After you've done that, then you can ask a couple of questions to yourself. Like maybe what are datas on this? Like you can share a personal story, but if something happened to you, you want to bet you are not the only person in the world that have experienced that. Give us a little bit more data, context, why this is a problem. Maybe you talking about burnout, how for CEOs or busy moms. Give us numbers. We love numbers because that help us contextualize things and be like, okay, this is something people broadly need.
So the research, but also with data to back it up.
Yeah.
I did want to ask, now, from what you saw last year, was there any type of ideas or people group that you felt were underrepresented in what you saw? Or did you feel like you had a good rounded spectrum?
So when the judges went through their process, so like I said, there were 2 rounds.
Yeah.
And then, so there was a first round, there was a second round.
Yeah.
And then as part of one of the criteria for like the second round was looking at diversities, to look at diversity of speakers. That was very intentional. So so that means you've already crossed the first threshold.
Yeah, so it looks like you took
already
care of that.
Yeah, you already crossed the first threshold. We know you already have something. Right? And then we look at the diversity of speakers. So our speakers were very diverse. It was very intentional from whether age, whether it's gender, whether it's background.
Yeah.
That was all very diverse.
All right then.
Can I just like continue something back on trying to do your research? So once you look at YouTube and everything, another thing I would suggest you do is to ask yourself a couple of questions. Why are you the person talking about this? This is where your story come in. Why is this relevant? If you want to talk about history, cool. But if I live in 2026, I don't want to care about what happened in the 90s. Like, not the 90s, but like the 80s maybe. And unless there's why it's applied to me. Someone talked about history during our talk, and he did a really good thing telling us what happened then and why it's relevant now. So give us connection.
The connection.
Yeah. And then the takeaway. I think people lost that part a lot. What can the audience take away or the key lesson moment? So think about that as a workshop.
Right.
So once you are able to make sure every idea can actually answer those questions for you, why now, key lesson moment or takeaway, you'll be able to come up with a really solid page.
All right. Thanks so much for sharing that. So behind the scenes now, like, in front, we see perfection in front. Can you tell us one moment that was really put the fire out moment behind the scenes from the last TEDx?
Okay, this is one of like those messy moments, but also like not like overly crazy. I was when we got to a point where we were not sure we got to a point where financially we were not sure if we'll be able to do the
Pull
event.
it off.
Yeah. We had a speaker, Matt, who was like, oh, I know TEDx Pagwash, I could borrow their sign. So that sign we had was not our sign, we borrowed it, okay? So I'm really grateful that he came up to do that, talk to them, and we're able to get the sign. That was one of like the things that are really clear for us. Other than that, it was nothing major other than meeting deadlines and trying to make sure things just stay on track.
Okay.
Yeah,
So that's
it was a stressful experience, but it was not like, it was stressful.
At the end of that event, when you got to bed at night, what did you say to yourself?
Oh, it was unreal. It was like, I felt unreal. I was tired, but honestly, I was
accomplished.
Like, yeah, it was just crazy, kind of like, did this actually happen? Yeah, it was very, very fulfilling.
And Halifax is definitely better for it.
Yes.
So thank you for being bold enough, to step out and live the dream, and live out your dream. Now, the last question that I wanted to ask is with regards to the future. So in 10 years from now, assuming TEDx Argyle St goes on for the next 10 years, what would you like people at that 10-year mark to say that the impact of this event has been on community generally?
One thing I'll say is that hopefully the TEDx evolve with the community and it becomes a part of our day-to-day conversation. So it becomes something that leads to policy changes in our workplace, because work is a huge part of our life.
Yes.
It becomes something that help people grow their careers. So whether you want to be a speaker or coach or whatever reason that will mean for you, the hope is also that people get the confidence enough to understand that if someone else can do it, I can do it. And whether that they speaking on TED or they just doing whatever that makes sense for them.
Right.
And for us as a team is to change the name to TEDx Halifax.
Right.
So that it become a standard event. There's a process to that, which has been a little bit difficult. But hopefully we change it from Aga, because Aga is a street, to capturing Halifax and making it part of the Halifax experience.
Fantastic. Well, congratulations on all of that. I'm curious though, for such high impact events that you do, how do you relax? There is a need to unwind somehow, right? And catch your breath. Yeah.
They are very stressful. They are very stressful. Sometimes I just want to cry. Sometimes I genuinely just want to cry.
Yeah.
However, I'm very good at creating systems that work for me. And also just listening to my body. When my body say no today, I don't care what plans I have. I'm canceling, okay? Hey, listen, I'll cancel any plan for a good book. I read a lot of novels to help me calm down.
Oh, that's nice.
So I also do movies and sometimes just hang out with people. But I'm also really good at creating priorities. So I have like way where I decide this is a priority, this is urgent, this is not important, maybe this can wait.
So you're intentional.
So I'm very intentional about how I spread my time. Someone once said, every minute of your time you spend with someone is a piece of your life you not get back.
Oh, and wow.
I never forget that. So I'm just like, if I'm going to spend my life on this, like it has to be worth the effort. And sometimes that's just honestly me not wanting to talk to anybody. I'm very extroverted, but there's sometimes where I don't want to talk to anybody. I just stay
time
in my room where I'm going to just
recoil to refire.
Like, nope.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just, I listen to my body and I make sure I plan intentionally.
Okay. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. This has been very enlightening. It's
Me
really
too.
been a pleasure chatting to you and wishing you all the very best for TEDx Argyle St 2026 with the theme Evolve.
If you want to apply, definitely send your application in. The very first day we opened the application, we got almost 30 people applying. That same day, which I was like, oh my God. For me, it's always like the most stressful thing. I think that's why I'm not on the judging committee, because I'm scared to tell people no. Don't judge me, okay? But if you ever wanted to be a speaker, We currently have our application open for speakers for 2026, and it's going to be up till the 26th of January. We'd love to have you if you've ever dreamed about it. The first day we opened it, we had almost 20, 30 people that apply. And so come join us. And if you decide, I don't want to be a speaker, I'm not ready, that is okay. We have space for everybody. We're going to be opening our volunteer application too, so you can always volunteer to apply with, to work with us and get the experience of just being on the organizing team. And there are people who volunteer up to the day, and some people who just want to volunteer on the main day. It does not matter. We have space for everybody. I love people, and I want people to come around. So whatever way you want to get involved with TED, it's honestly for the community. And I just want the community to be involved regardless of age, gender, race. Come join us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So definitely, I'm sure that the community will listen to that clarion call and jump on it. Thank you for being with us today.
Okay, thank you.
All right. That's all we have for you on today's episode of Community Updates. A huge thank you to Fatu M, Kaba, TEDx organizer with TEDx Argyle St, for being our guest and for such an insightful conversation. Now, if you're watching and you've ever wondered whether your story is worth sharing, we've learned this today. It surely is. Please like, share, and subscribe to support what we do here. And be sure to follow Fatu and TEDx Argyle St, because there's more coming and you don't want to miss it. Thanks for watching, and see you on the next one.